All right, this is something I can actually refer to as disturbing. You see, AI is a technology that has been helping us resellers. We use it to create, product listing descriptions. We use it to correct our titles. We use it pretty much to edit our photos. Pretty much every aspect of reselling can now be done with AI. It's not something that one should be shy of. It's technology that came out in our time, so we are actually proud to use it. But the problem is now I kind of am aware that people are beginning to use AI in a negative way. Of course, it is what it is. Every technology that comes out, there's just going to be that one, disgruntled person that's going to try to, use this technology, manipulate it, at the detriment of the sellers. You see, I sell used computers on eBay, laptops, iPads, desktop PCs, mini PCs, pretty much everything IT hardware related. And when I hear news like this, it's a little bit worrying because I was looking at YouTube today and I realized that there is a trend pretty much going on right now. I have not actually, met someone that has been affected directly, but the way it is, it's actually possible to use AI, manipulate it in such a way that your item that you have sent to a buyer appears, to be destroyed during transportation. You see, I was watching so many videos today, just kind of, winding off time in the warehouse, and I realized that this is actually a possibility. So the way this kind of fraud is going to play out is that, a buyer buys your item, you spend a lot of effort, shipping out the item, and then the buyer receives it. And if this buyer has a criminal intention, you can actually take, photos of the item that you have sent to him or her, run it through an AI system and just make the item appear to be destroyed during transportation. And sometimes, because of the way AI is, you can actually specify, minimal damage to the item, perhaps just a little bit of cosmetic damage here and there. And the buyer in this case, because he or she has a criminal intention, can actually write to you and say, look, the item that you sent to me actually came a little bit broken, but it's not like I cannot use it. Is there anything that you can do with the price? And because we do not want to return an expensive item, because I typically tend to sell very expensive items. So if it's a laptop, say about 400 euros, I wouldn't want the laptop to come back to me because that's going to be a major, problem, especially when the buyer is saying, I can actually use the item. I just want you to go ahead and give me a little bit of a discount. See, I have done this many times before. Somebody sends me, photos of the item that was sent and says, look, the item came with a scratch, perhaps from shipping, whatever it is. And when a buyer is kind of asking me to make a little bit of a reduction, perhaps 10, 50 euros, sometimes I just want to let it slide. I go ahead, initiate a refund, and let the transaction go. But right now, I understand that the AI that we are all proud to have to use in our business can also be used, to disrupt these items that we have sent to buyers. Somebody can take, this item, for example, you have sent it, the item has arrived in a very, very good condition. The buyer takes it, make pictures of this item, run it through an AI system and specify that, look, let this item kind of be broken at the edge here. And the buyer is kind of asking for you to make, a little bit of a reduction. This is kind of interesting. I haven't seen, like I said, somebody that it directly happened to, but I'm on the lookout. When things like this begin to happen, you are actually shocked how creative people can be in the negative direction. Sometimes I'm asking myself, if a buyer has this kind of, creativity, he knows how to manipulate an AI system to create a situation that never ever happened with the intention of just, asking for a refund from the seller, why not just put this same effort in creating, a responsible business? Because somebody that can already think in this direction can also think, and create something responsible, create a very good product, and go ahead to sell it on a platform like, say, eBay. But then it doesn't happen like this. These, miscreants, these people, they have a way of thinking only in the negative direction, only to do things that just goes a long way to hurting the seller. See, every year, there is always a new kind of fraud being perpetrated on the online space. If you watch carefully, I'm not saying this is a thing that's peculiar to eBay or Amazon. As a matter of fact, it's an online fraud that affects all platforms. Doesn't matter if you also sell on your website. I also sell on my website. And this kind of thing can equally happen. It's just mind-boggling to realize that the more you are trying to, create a station where people can actually get responsible items, somewhere, somehow, somebody on the other side is looking for a way to defraud you. I do not know how the platforms are going to treat this, but like I said, it's always a very big inconvenience when somebody tells you that the item that you sent over is defective and you don't want to bear the cost of taking the item back and refunding the total, purchase price. When somebody is asking for 10 or 15 euro discount, sometimes we want to just let it slide. But now that it has become like this, given that, AI cannot be used to manipulate pictures, one needs to be careful. Of course, I'm going to be taking a look at a lot of the videos online to see how, sellers like myself, it tends to combat this kind of, fraud. See, when it happens like this, it makes me now begin to be extra careful how quickly I want to refund a buyer in the event of somebody complaining that the item that was sent over arrived, defective or with some kind of damage, some cosmetic, defect. I want to be careful because now I know that it's actually possible, to use AI to manipulate pictures. Honestly, I never thought of this. And this is one of the reasons why I also said that, look, if you sell on eBay and you are not, following up on the trends, watching YouTube videos, TikTok videos, or even Instagram or Facebook videos about what's happening in your industry, you might be doing something wrong. You might be surprised because the moment you finally realize it might be too late. This is now a clarion call for me, for every other reseller out there to actually say that, look, using AI 2025, even to create a situation that didn't happen in terms of a buyer, writing you, even showing you physical pictures of the item that you sent across and saying that the item, came defective or came broken, even when it didn't happen, it's a possibility and it's something that we should be aware of. Of course, like I said, the platforms are also aware of this and they are going to be taking measures to ensure that responsible sellers that come to the platform to sell are not ripped of their hard-earned money by these disgruntled buyers that want to see to it that sellers don't make profit. Hopefully, the platform is going to do what they have to do to ensure that if a potential fraud like this is already being, deployed, they are going to be nipped in the bud and sellers are continually being protected. Of course, eBay has got a lot of, seller protection schemes in place. I have not had any reason to make recourse to these schemes. Hopefully, it stays like this. But it is shocking to know that AI that we all love, that we all sing the praise of, that look, is something that can actually be a game changer for your business, can actually be the bane of your business. Guys, if you are a reseller out there, please be careful how you respond, to buyers' requests. When a buyer reaches out to you and say, look, the item that you sent across came defective, take a step back, be patient. Don't be so quick to approve any, refund request that is being sent to you. Take a look at the item. Ask for different perspective of the same photo. My experience of using AI is that it's just difficult for an AI system to replicate exactly the same photo, in different perspectives. So ask for more than one perspective, more than one angle. Ask for the seller to make you a 360-degree view of the item. Hopefully, this should be an easy problem to solve. Of course, it shouldn't be that when you receive a refund request, you go ahead without thinking, approve it. You might actually be falling victim of an AI scam. I hope this video goes a long way in opening your eyes, making you aware of what's actually possible in 2025. But it is my wish that you do not fall victim of this, classical scam. Until I see you again in the next video. Peace.